What made you quit a job on the spot? My manager told me to clean human feces off the floor. I was 8 months pregnant, had been working 60-hour weeks to save money for maternity leave, and desperately needed this job for our health insurance. I'd been working at this restaurant for 2 years as assistant manager. The pay was $18 an hour, and they offered health insurance that covered pregnancy, something we desperately needed since my husband's job didn't provide benefits. At 8 months pregnant, I was pulling 60-hour weeks, managing schedules, and covering shifts when people called out. The restaurant had this server, Jake, who was the owner's nephew. He was 23, entitled, and treated the job like a joke because his uncle would never fire him. Jake would show up hungover and make inappropriate comments that management ignored. That Tuesday started like any lunch rush. I was coordinating when I heard a commotion. Customers were standing up, looking disgusted and pointing at the floor. I waddled over and found human feces smeared across the floor in a trail from the bathroom to dining tables. The smell was overwhelming. Customers were gagging and leaving. What happened? I asked a server. Jake had an accident coming out of the bathroom, she whispered, pointing to Jake laughing with other servers about how he'd sharded himself after last night's drinking. He just left it there? He said it wasn't his job to clean floors. I approached Jake. You need to clean this up immediately. We have customers eating. Jake looked at me like I'd asked him to perform surgery. No. I'm a server, not a janitor. You're the one who tracked it out here, I said, my voice rising. Look, I can't help that I had an accident, Jake laughed. Besides, pregnant women deal with this stuff all the time. You're probably used to it. I stared at him in disbelief. This grown man had defecated himself, tracked it through the dining room, and was telling me that cleaning his feces was my natural calling. More customers were leaving. I was heavily pregnant, being asked to clean human waste while the person responsible cracked jokes. My manager Dave appeared. Surely he'd make Jake handle his own mess. What's the holdup? Dave asked. Jake had an accident and refuses to clean it up. Customers are leaving. Just get it cleaned up, Dave interrupted, handing me a mop and bucket. I looked at the mop, then at Dave, then at Jake, who was still snickering. Dave, I'm 8 months pregnant. Jake made this mess. Why can't he clean it? Dave sighed like I was being difficult. Look, Sarah, part of management is handling situations. Jake's got tables to serve. This is asking me to clean human feces while the person who caused it stands there laughing. Pregnant women are used to dealing with gross stuff anyway, Dave said dismissively. Just get it done or I'll write you up for insubordination. Something snapped inside me. I'd worked through morning sickness, swollen feet, and exhaustion. I'd covered for Jake countless times. I'd sacrificed my health for this job because we needed insurance, and now they wanted me to clean human excrement, while the person responsible made jokes. Write me up? I repeated. That's right. This is part of your job. I looked around. Customers were still leaving. Jake was still laughing. Dave was still holding the mop. I untied my apron and placed it on the host stand. I took off my name tag and grabbed my purse. You know what, Dave? I quit. I dropped my uniform shirt on his desk. You can clean Jake's shit yourself, or make Jake do it since he's the one who left feces through your dining room. Dave's mouth fell open. Sarah, you can't just leave. We need you for dinner rush. Then maybe you should have thought about that before asking your pregnant employee to clean human waste while the person responsible laughs. I walked out. My hands were shaking, and I was terrified about losing our health insurance weeks before giving birth, but I couldn't stay in a place that valued Jake's comfort over basic human dignity. 2 weeks later, the health department shut them down for 3 days after someone reported the incident. Our daughter was born healthy 6 weeks later. We went into debt paying for the delivery without insurance, but I've never regretted walking away.